All right. Ni hao. Unfortunately, that's where my Taiwanese stops. I apologize for the delay. There we go. Okay, I'm here to talk about Ohio. Who's heard of Ohio? All right, good. The Cleveland Cavaliers, they won a big sports competition in Ohio, and some people have heard because of that. We're also known as a swing state for some of the politics that go on in Ohio, or in the USA. But the reason why I want you to think about Ohio is because we feel Ohio is a great place for you to invest. First of all, a lot of people don't know where Ohio is. So let me quickly share, we're on the eastern side of the US, and we're located right in the center with access to 60%, 60% of the North American economy. And why is that important? It's important because in one day, your products can reach customers, as well as if you have operations based in Ohio, you're a 1 hour flight away from New York, Chicago. It doesn't, a large part of the economy of North America. And we found that 47 countries have invested in Ohio to date. And you might wonder why. One is the solid workforce. You hear about that from other states as well. A lot of our neighbors. We come from an agricultural start and a hard work ethic from the farm. And then now we're a very strong manufacturing state, and we're also a very strong IT state, and I'll talk more about that. But we've grown along the way, but the hard work ethic is there. And the workforce is very educated and productive. The cost of doing business is very sustainable. It's a low cost of doing business for the US. Taxes are very low, and we're a very business-friendly state. We're also rated as being very low in risk on natural disaster. And that becomes really important for business continuity, but also for new innovations like data centers. Now, a little bit about our logistics infrastructure. We're very proud of this because it's a big enabler for your business, no matter what kind of business it is. If it involves a product, then this is important. We have 9 foreign trade zones, more foreign trade zones than any other state in the Midwest. And like my colleague, we can talk more about that afterwards if you'd like to talk about it, but there's huge tax savings with foreign trade zone. Then 13 intermodal terminals. Ohio is a logistics hub of the Midwest. A lot of trains come in to Ohio and terminate there. And specifically, from the coast, we have next day train service right into the state. And I like to think that basically brings the coast to our door and gives companies consistent supply chain time from the boat arriving and getting your product into Ohio. That didn't happen by accident. We worked together collaboratively with all the states in between, and we changed the rail system so that we could have double stack intermodal straight from the coast into Ohio and have it be nonstop or almost nonstop so that supply chain can be efficient. You wouldn't think of Ohio as having water ports, but we have over 200 of them. And this is important. You see up at the top, we're connected to the Great Lakes. So Lake Erie is right above us, one of the largest freshwater lakes. And that connects out through other channels. And so we have a nonstop direct service between Cleveland, Ohio, and Antwerp in Europe. And so we have our own cargo service going back and forth in addition to the intermodals. And then the road system is fantastic, and many cargo airports with capacity. Ohio's industries are very diverse. I said we started as agricultural, became very big in manufacturing. We're number 3 in the US on manufacturing workforce. That manufacturing covers everything from automotive, where Honda North America is based in Ohio. There's research and development there. There is a lot of manufacturing. And there's the whole supply chain of the automotive industry is in Ohio, not just for Honda. We find that companies like to locate in Ohio for automotive because they're right in the middle between Michigan, Georgia, as well as what Ohio does in manufacturing for auto. So you can locate there and access many companies, many markets. The aerospace and aviation, we have a long, rich history of aerospace that started with the Wright brothers in Dayton, Ohio, who invented the first airplane. And from there, things grew. Now we're number one in supplying Boeing and Airbus in our manufacturing. And then advanced manufacturing, we have a number of smart manufacturers, and 3D manufacturing is growing quite a bit. And then ongoing with diversity, IT is growing rapidly. Amazon Web Services, which is the largest cloud data provider, cloud service provider in the world, is opening up its first set of data centers in the US between the coasts, and it's opening in Columbus, Ohio. And this is a $1.1 billion investment. And I'll just leave that thought with you on IT. If Amazon chooses to put $1 billion into Ohio for their data center, there must be a good reason for it. And a lot of it is the safety from natural disaster. A lot of it is the same reason why we're good for logistics. It's proximity. It's right in the middle of a lot of business. And the other area of IT that's growing like this, really rapid in Ohio, is big data. So the analysis of big data. Up in Cleveland, in the north part of Ohio, we have the Cleveland Clinic. And the Cleveland Clinic is famous for its innovations. What's happening is now we're seeing medical big data companies form in the north of Ohio. In central Ohio, IBM has invested in the North American headquarters for their big data operation. And when you get into southern Ohio, you have Procter & Gamble, Macy's, Kroger, big companies that are very retail-based, consumer-based, and there's a lot of data analysis around that. So big data is growing. Financial services, very strong. Logistics and distribution, we spoke about it, but one area that's growing very rapidly and is getting onto the national news in the US is Ohio as a capital of e-commerce growth. So we're a natural location for e-commerce, both for the inbound and on the outbound. And we're becoming an extension of Silicon Valley for e-business. In biohealth, we spoke about the Cleveland Clinic, but a couple things you might not know, it took me by surprise as well when I learned, 90% of pharmaceuticals in the US are distributed through Ohio. It's a fascinating thing, and in biohealth, there's also innovation. We have the first 3D printed drug that's been approved by the FDA in Ohio, and it was invented in Ohio and approved for use in the U.S. A lot of innovation going on. Food processing, of course, is a big industry for us because of the agricultural side. I'd like to thank you for the investment Taiwan's already making in Ohio. We have a number of companies that you can see there, but also we have really good trade with importing 1.2 billion from you already, and then 500 million of exports. I'd like to continue to grow that. The exports are around agriculture, chemicals, things like that. Many famous people came from Ohio. We talked about the Wright brothers. Neil Armstrong, the first person to walk on the moon, that came from Ohio. And on the theme of invention, we're continuing that theme in the digital age. Today it's about digital. And Ohio has invested over $1.6 billion in creating an ecosystem for entrepreneurship and startup companies taking people with ideas and growing them. And I'm going to take a moment, and if I can get this to work, I will play a little video for you, because I feel that when a company wants to invest in a state, you're not just finding a good piece of land. You're not just finding good taxes. You're not just finding a good location. It's all important. But you also want a culture. You want to know what the culture is of the state you're in. And that includes the innovation ecosystem. So this gives you a little glimpse. I took a camera. It wasn't me. I took a camera crew from a company along with me. We visited companies all across Ohio and interviewed them about what they felt about starting a company in Ohio.
Ohio is an amazing place to start a company. It's an amazing place to move to, and you'll find an environment that is welcoming and encouraging for people to launch their dreams and go after it.
So let's talk a little bit about what's really cool happening in Ohio. Ohio has a history of being successful. We just never told anyone.
We find that once people visit the area, they have kind of an awakening. Oh, there's a lot going on here.
They don't realize that Victoria's Secret, Bath & Body Works, Nationwide, Huntington Bank, Big Lots, all those companies have their headquarters here in Ohio.
You can do business with P&G or Macy's or Kroger. That happens here.
Those companies aren't here because it's just nice to be here. Those companies are here in part because there's the talent to run those companies. Not only do we have the numbers, we have the diversity and the talent within those numbers to actually get something done.
We have a lot of incredibly talented people here, and yes, there is incredible opportunity in Ohio. We have some of the best universities in the United States right here, and these universities are doing cutting-edge things to really develop talent, and there's some very unique things being done, the way we interact and connect education and business.
IBM's had huge success with the Ohio State University. I worked closely with the business school and the engineering school and arts and sciences around really creating an undergraduate degree in analytics. That's fairly unusual for any institution to be willing to do that.
We have had no issues in finding the right talent. The couple of areas that we have to go outside this region, we've been able to attract them back to Ohio because of the environment and the quality of life Ohio offers.
When I can live in a 4,000 square foot house here for the same as it would cost me for a 400 square foot apartment in San Francisco, guess what? I'm going to hang out in my 4,000 square foot house. That doesn't suck.
Innovation is happening in Ohio. It's happening because our state has invested in it.
The state has been helpful not only in helping us build a business, but helped us acquire customers, find customers, reach investors.
Entities like Jobs Ohio that are out there that are creating this culture, creating this environment and ecosystem that enable us to pursue our dreams and to go after big, audacious goals.
There is some real investment and emphasis on collaborating on a statewide level.
If you look at the Third Frontier program, it is a source of funding. We started with a little over $1 billion of taxpayers' dollars to be able to fund innovation and invention, create jobs, and keep those jobs and interest here. It's very unique compared to the other 50 states.
And that's probably why you see people like Drive Capital in Columbus, biggest fund between San Francisco, Silicon Valley, and New York. Over $200 million that they're investing in startups.
We're starting to see other venture firms coming to town. No one, you couldn't have scripted that 5 years ago, right?
There is an ecosystem that is here and that is primed for companies to grow.
We genuinely work together, and we don't feel a sense of competition, but the sense of collaboration between all sizes and all type of companies. Maybe it's not unique, but I feel it's really unique to Ohio.
People are willing to pick up the phone and take a meeting with you. You can come here and quickly get immersed in a community and become successful in all sorts of ways. But fundamentally, You've got people who work hard, that are pretty freaking smart, and they collaborate. That's a pretty good starting point for being successful.
What I want to wrap up with is we've organized in Ohio to try to make it easy for you to invest. And how we organized to do that is we created a company called Jobs Ohio. And Jobs Ohio represents the whole state. And then we engage 6 other economic development companies by region. So you can see that the parts of Ohio are split up into 6 parts. And each part is an expert on their region, their locations, their local cities, their mayor, and that whole network of 6 regions and our company all work off of one system. We work with one process. We work as one team. So we talk about one team, one state. And our purpose is to give you one point of contact. When you want to enter Ohio or consider and have a quote from us about what it means to come in, then we provide one point of contact, and you get access to everybody from the local city up to the state government. And as a project evolves, let's say you want to open up a manufacturing location and you need a road expanded because the road's not big enough there. We know how to get that done. We have the connections to the right places to facilitate those decisions. And it's all about economic development, creating jobs, and in making your company successful. And that's what gets our people really excited. It's not just the incentives. We have the incentives, but we enjoy making your business more successful by working with you, and it gives us excitement. And so that includes services such as site selection, again, like my colleagues in Pennsylvania, engaging universities, connecting you with local companies, all of the different things to make your business and your entry into the U.S. successful. So with that, I invite you to talk more at the table over here afterwards, and ongoing in the future, reach out and we'd love to engage. Thank you.